It's been almost 8 months since Audrey Hale, the 28-year-old trans-identifying psychopath, killed 6 people in a Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee. Immediately following the tragic event, where 3 little kids were murdered and 3 adult staff members were killed, Tennessee and Nashville officials told us that there was a manifesto left behind by the lunatic. By that, they meant something written by the crazed woman explaining her motives. We were promised by the Nashville Police chief, John Drake, that the manifesto would be released. He promised Governor Lee that, but it never happened, and Lee has never said anything about it either. Now, I was on a radio show shortly after this happened, and I was asked about the manifesto, if I believed it would ever be released. And I said, probably not, because it would undermine the liberal narrative and agenda. I said that because I figured it was littered with the new liberal intolerance, hatred for Christianity and the like. It turns out I wasn't far off. 3 images were leaked by a conservative podcaster and his investigative team showing somewhat of a schedule of the awful day with several comments and notes from Audrey Hale. Now, I try to keep the show as family-friendly as possible, so I'm going to censor some of these words, but here's some of what she allegedly wrote. If you're watching the video podcast, take a look at the background behind the notebook and the purple gloves that are holding it up. This makes me think that these were photographs taken of the notebooks on the day of the event. But the first image calls this planning, quote, death day. And the words are separated by the Umbrella Corporation logo from Resident Evil. Resident Evil is a series of games and movies in which the Umbrella Corporation is an international pharmaceutical company responsible for creating a bioengineered weapon or a virus which effectively created zombies all over the world and wiped out half of the population. Over the top of this logo, she wrote what looks like the words "Dark Abyss," and this is right next to the drawing of a gun. And here's what she wrote. "Today is the day. The day has finally come. I can't believe it's here. Don't know how I was able to get this far, but here I am. I'm a little nervous, but excited too. Been excited for the past 2 weeks. There were several times I could have been caught, especially in the summer of 2021. None of that matters now. I'm almost an hour and 7 minutes away." So she's literally writing this an hour before it happens. She's in disbelief that she's gotten this far. I'm curious to know what happened in the summer of 2021. Why haven't we heard about that? You can tell from this and from the initial police statements that she had been planning this for some time. She had maps of the school, etc. She also said, "Can't believe I'm doing this. I'm ready. I hope my victims are not." This is pure evil. Someone gleeful with excitement over murdering innocent little kids and others. She also said, "My only fear is if anything goes wrong, God let my wrath take over my anxiety." Now, of course, it is sickening that she's praying for God's help in this, but she's praying for her fears to be replaced by her wrath. That sounds like revenge, vengeful talk, like this is payback or something. But she said, "It might be 10 minutes tops. I hope I have a high death count. Ready to die, ha ha." I mean, this sounds like it was written by the Joker. On another page, and the second leaked image, she details the schedule for the day, saying 7 a.m. get dressed, 9 a.m. eat breakfast, 9:30 a.m. pack up special belongings, 9:50 a.m. test knife glass breaker, 10 a.m. leave for Royal Range, that's a shooting range in Nashville. At 10:20 a.m., gear up and set up guns, assemble them in the trunk, and get out vest with mags inside. At 11:20 a.m., she writes final videotape. I'm sure that a lot of us would like to see that. 11:35, leave for Covenant School, arrive at noon. At 12:33, open fire towards southwest entrance, and then she writes, time to die, XXX. Now there's one more image and one more page that was leaked, and it says several things about the motive. It's dated February 3rd, and she said, kill those kids. Those crackers going to private fancy schools with those fancy khakis and sports backpacks with their daddy's Mustangs and convertibles. Bleep, you little bleeps. I wish to shoot you bleeps with your mop yellow hair. Wanna kill all you little crackers. Bunch of little bleeps with your white privileges. Bleep, you bleeps. Now, initially the police seemed to deny that these photos were legit. But then the new Nashville mayor, Freddie O'Connell, launched a whole investigation into the leaked documents, which basically proves the photos are legitimate photos of Audrey's journal, the Manifesto. So what do we have here? We have a maniacal, trans-identifying white woman who apparently hates white Christians. Just take the writings of these 3 pages that we've seen so far and the details of the event, and that's an easy deduction. Honestly, it's not surprising to see some of what we're seeing here. I'm surprised to not see something said of Christianity, but I think that is spoken of in her actions. We know this girl attended school there, and this is where she specifically chose to attack. Any theories to attempt to connect bullying of any sort seems highly unlikely. Any information I could find said that she only went to school there through the 4th grade, and the teachers described her as just a normal young lady, a typical student. Contrary to further claims, it turned out to be false that she was receiving counseling from the pastor there, whose daughter was killed that day. Hale seemed like a normal girl. And here's a couple of photos of Audrey with her mom and brother. Here's her senior photo. She apparently played basketball and ran track. At her school, the Nashville School of Arts, she was voted most athletic, and she apparently very, very much loved playing with this basketball team. And that fact is really important to the rest of the story. Now, at some point after graduating, she attended Nashville College of Art in Nashville. Here she is in this picture receiving a certificate there. While she's attending school there, earning a degree in something related to graphic design, a former teammate of hers died in a car accident, which devastated Audrey. After this happened, teachers at the school reported a noticeable change in her. She began to look different. She changed her name to Aiden and switched to using he, him pronouns. Here's what she looked like after all this happened. Completely different. Police said she was seeing a professional for an emotional disorder at this time. But about 15 minutes before the shooting happened, Hale sent a few messages to another girl she played basketball with. The messages said, I wanted to tell you first because you are the most beautiful person I have ever seen and known in all my life. My family doesn't know what I'm about to do. One day, this will make more sense. I've left more than enough evidence behind, but something bad is about to happen. Forgive me. So, there's a lot that can be said about this, but here's what we're going to say about it today. Here's how all of this adds up to me. And I'm going with all of the information that is out there that I could possibly find. Reading news report after news report, I see no presence of a father anywhere. Even though several reports refer to her parents, I can't find anything on a father. I think she was a homosexual. I think she was attracted to several of her teammates, but it was a faction of her that she kept hidden until the death of the woman that she loved, and maybe even stalked for years. She seems to have been tormented by literal demons. She studied school shootings, of all things. She wanted to die, but she wanted to hurt others while she did it. The tragic death of her love interest broke the final piece of sanity that she had, and that's when she became trans and started going by a different name and pronouns. And how did all this happen? Well, who knows? But I can theorize. If she never had a father around, that plays a huge role. Everybody underestimates the power and influence of social media in the social contagion of transgenderism. And if you're not around artistic types, then you don't know how affirming they are of perverse sexualities. What is obvious, however, and part of the reason why I bring all of this up, is that she was clearly immersed into liberalism in her college years. Combine that with the toxicity of social media, and you've got a young white lesbian who becomes transgender, hates white people, straight, Christian, patriarchy, and goes on a killing spree. Haven't you noticed that most of the frontliners in all of these woke movements are just young white girls? And I've talked about critical theory before, but this is the fulfillment of critical theories like critical race theory. This is the result of cultural Marxism. The evil white people must be destroyed. The white oppressors must be overthrown because they, the bourgeoisie of America, are the devil. Even the Ayatollah Khomeini says so. So your light examples are, whites and Asians being denied college admission, while your extreme examples are 3 9-year-old students being mowed down by a crazed lesbian. The mother of this girl has been mobilized by the woke mob to champion the gun control movement. It's just like the story I talked about weeks ago about the student that Giles County has left in the school, even though he made death threats, a hit list, and has knowingly practiced shooting, etc. And the parents wanted the kid removed for their children's safety, yet what did the school board say? You need to go be a gun control activist because he's not the problem. Guns are the problem. No, liberalism is the surface level problem. It is the political symptom of broken souls such as Audrey, who are severely sick and eternally so. They create the perfect vessel for demonic control and influence, and that really shows us what we're to do with this. Of course, schools need more security, but more importantly, Christians are not evangelizing as much as they should. I keep saying this every single week in response to the news. Audrey's neighbors describe the family as very religious, but that seems to demonstrate that whatever that means and whatever church they belong to did a horrific job of discipleship with this girl and her family. So we need to evangelize better. Churches need to disciple better. Parents need to disciple better. Keep your kids off of social media. Strike the balance of truth and grace with people just as Jesus did. Have the guts to tell people the truth in love. Don't rejoice and affirm unrighteousness. And maybe, just maybe, we can avoid the next school shooting and prevent another social justice warrior from damaging society. Getting quality, good-priced meat products is proving to be increasingly difficult these days. With Bidenflation, the prices of everything in the store is going through the roof. When you make fuel more expensive, that costs the farmer more, it costs the shipper more, it costs the grocer more, and it costs you more. That's why you need to check out Good Ranchers. They'll ship directly to your house. They're 100% American beef, chicken, seafood, and pork, all sourced from independent farmers in the US. So check the link in my show notes and use the code RANCHER10, RANCHER10, for 10% off their best-selling Ranchers Classic box.